Have you ever thought about doing a yoga teacher training but weren't sure what is it really like? I'm currently halfway through my 12-week 240-hour training at the Vancouver School of Healing Arts. And today I want to give you the honest truth about what I've learned, the challenges, and whether I actually recommend if you're thinking about signing up. Why I started. I decided to take this program after burning out from my previous job as a landscape designer. I was sitting in front of computers for long hours, my back hurts, and I didn't find any meaning in my work anymore. Yoga has been with me since university. Even though I didn't practice all the time, I always felt relaxed and grounded after my sessions. Yoga improved both my physical and my mental health, and I thought maybe this could be a different way for me to interact with the world, not just for myself, but hopefully to help other people feel the same healing effects. What the first 6 weeks look like. The program runs Saturdays and Sunday during the day and Wednesday, Thursday evenings online. It's a big commitment, and this program goes from July 5th to October 5th. That means you will spend most of your summer weekends in a classroom. In the first half of the course, you study principles of practice, which is alignment, asana, poses breakdown, how to approach poses safely, teaching methodology, sequencing basics, practicing cues, and starting short teaching drills, usually about 15 minutes or so. Anatomy and physiology, learning the muscles, joints, and breathing mechanics honestly feels like a new language to me. Philosophy, lifestyle, and ethics, which is about yoga history, the Yoga Sutras, and how to apply yogic principles on your daily life. What surprised me most about the program is how much thought goes into sequencing a class. Remembering in a 15-minute sequence with all the cues is very challenging. Right now, we're only teaching short sections with our script nearby, but even that takes a lot of focus and courage in front of a big group of people. Teaching for the first time. When I first stood up to teach, I was definitely very nervous. So my heart was pumping as I read from my script. But once I get going, I realized I actually enjoyed it. Leading a yoga class felt very rewarding. Our group, or Kula, which is a yogic word for community, is very supportive. That made a huge difference. I felt empowered using my voice, my tone, and my instructions to influence how other people moved and breathed in the yoga session. Challenges so far. The two hardest parts for me have been philosophy and anatomy. Yoga philosophy comes from a culture that are very different from mine, and some of the names in the text are very hard for me to grasp. I'm more of a tactile and visual learner, so abstract concept doesn't really stick very easy. Anatomy also has been tough because I don't use those terms in my daily life. It is a lot of memorization, and I have to carve out extra study time to understand different muscle groups and how they work in practice. But don't worry, you don't have to understand every single muscle. It's mostly for you to understand what your students are saying when they describe their injuries or issues they have. The rewards. On the other hand, the practice and teaching methodology have been incredibly rewarding. Week by week, I can feel my body changing. My shoulders and my hands are stronger. I can stretch deeper into different poses, and I understand alignment in a much clearer way. I've also learned how to use my breath to relax my body and center myself, which is something I did not pay a lot of attention to before in the previous classes. Honest advice for anyone considering a yoga teacher training, YTT. If a friend asked me today about signing up for yoga teacher training, my first question for her or him would be, what do you want to do with it? Or why do you want to do it? Because here's the reality. Yoga teachers in Canada on average makes about $25 to $45 per class, depending on the studio and location. If you're teaching full-time, that might mean $20,000 to $40,000 a year. It takes a lot of hustling across multiple studios. So if someone is looking to make yoga teacher their only career, I'd recommend doing some research and think carefully about finances. But if your goal is personal growth, physical and mental health, or adding yoga teaching as a complement to another career, then I would say go for it. One practical tip. Find out what schools are eligible for student loans or grants. For example, Vancouver School of Healing Arts, school I'm at, is part of a registered college, and I was able to apply for a student loan that made tuition easier to manage in the beginning. Looking ahead, second half of the 12-week training. For the rest of the program, I'm really hoping to build some confidence so I don't have to rely on my script as much. I want to create a full sequence on my own that I can eventually teach online or in person, like a full 60-minute class. We'll also be covering the business of yoga in the coming weeks, and I'm actually very excited for that, because it'll give me a sense of how to actually shape yoga in a more sustainable way. Personal growth. Most importantly, this training has already changed me personally. I've learned humility. Those are the days that I simply cannot do a certain pose and I see others doing it perfectly. Instead of comparing, I've learned to accept that we all bring different gifts in this community. Everyone has their own flexibility, their own body compositions. I've also learned to forgive myself. Just today, I forgot a pose in my sequence and I had to pause and restart. And you know what? It was fine. Mistakes happen, we're all human, and that's part of the process. So that's where I'm at. I'm halfway through my yoga teacher training in Vancouver. It's been humbling, challenging, and rewarding all at once. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. If you're considering yoga teacher training, let me know about questions in the comments. I'd love to answer them. Thank you for watching and see you in the next update.